Yokoso konnichiwa and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2016 ITTF World Tour Super Series Japan Open. I'm Adam Bobrow, your commentator, and that is world rank number 1, LIU Shiwen, 25 years old. She's having an outstanding tournament so far. She's the first seed in the tournament, the third in the race to Doha for the World Tour Grand Finals, and she's 25 years old, but younger than her and on her team, Yuling, 21 years old, world rank number 3, the third seed in this tournament, and number 9 in the race to Doha, Qatar. Yesterday took down gold medalist Li Xiaosha in an impressive victory. Our head umpire for this match, Obok Ja from Korea. Our assistant umpire, Emilia Pulina from Italy. So as the crowd gets their clap on, these two will be determining who's standing where, who's serving, and getting into the match. Again, the top 4 players from China on both the men's and women's side, the big 4. We're all here for this tournament, but because of the world rankings, Li Xiaosha not being in the top 4 in the world, she had to face her teammate Yuling in the quarterfinals yesterday, which is why we will not see an all-Chinese semifinal. In this match it is. But we have a player from Chinese Taipei, Cheng Yi-Ching, who's pulled off some upsets to be here, her biggest upset of her career against Feng Tianwei yesterday. But as far as these two players, LIU Shiwen played her first match against the legendary medalist from the Olympics from Korea, Kim Kyung-ah, bronze medalist in the Olympics, who's come out chopping and playing quite well in the last few tournaments. But LIU Shiwen didn't allow her opponent to gain, winning 4-0. The next match was Liu Ja, and it was 4-1 for LIU Shiwen. There are a few stats about Yuling that you can see on the screen. So for the past several years has been climbing her way into the ranks to join the top 4 on the national team. And as Li Xiaosha is nearing likely the end of her career, trying to defend her title at the Olympics, Yuling will be filling in that spot. It's one of the top players alongside LIU Shiwen. While LIU Shiwen is world rank number 1, when it comes to big pressure tournaments, the National Association in China seems to put their money on Ding Ding and Li Xiaosha for the opportunity. LIU Shiwen pulling off the win for the Women's World Cup at the end of last year here in Japan in Sendai. So far this year, she won the Qatar Open, and last year also won the Polish Open. Had a few upsets against foreigners. LIU Shiwen was beaten by Du Hoi Kem in Hong Kong in April at the Olympic qualification tournaments. And last year at the Asian Cup in the finals against Feng Tianwei was beaten as well. So LIU Shiwen, after beating Kim Kyung-ah, took down Liu Ja, Tiayana, and is now here against Yuling. It's a best of 7. Yuling is going to start off with the serve. Love all. Forehand flip from over the table, a beautiful shot. Trying to stay loose out here, just starting what could be a very long match. Confident over the table play. Going for it again, a full arm stroke from over the table, just a little bit wild. But she's shown that she has the soft touch as well. Playing a soft third ball to earn that 5th ball attack. As far as difference in game, LIU Shiwen a lot more compact in her strokes. Yuling a bit more power. Tends to back off the table just a little bit, more likely to step around.
2-all.
Now head-to-head, these two have played 14 times on the World Tour, and 10 of those have gone to LIU Shiwen in blue. But Yuling has won 3 out of their last 5 encounters. As far as generations go and changing of the guard, that makes sense that Yuling would have won 3 out of their last 5 encounters as the young player who's still on her way up. Shiwen at a pretty steady age, 25 years old, arguably the peak of her career.
3-4.
And depending on which national association you're playing for, I'd say the arc in the careers are definitely different. 25 years old playing for a European team, European nation anyway. You might still be on your way up. Many players play into their 30s and even some women into their 40s in Europe, men as well.
3-4.
But for the Chinese National Association, it's rare to see a player in their 30s still playing for the national team. Excellent receive. Covers the middle with the backhand side, gives it back with a confusing, almost dead spin. Needing very light spin. You can see Yuling from off the table, still comfortable, causing some trouble for Shiwen. Shiwen just a little bit late to get around the ball.
Then 6-3.
With a fast serve like that, if it comes back quickly, it's a lot of pressure on the attacker, on the server. Shiwen with a solid receive there to take away the third ball. Break off the top of the net in the touch game, and it's a 1-point game. Ooh, almost comes back coast to coast from way out wide on the forehand and all the way deep into the backhand, pulling a Shiwen on this recovery. Look at that, right to the corner. Gets it from near the ground, has to extend the racket out of her hand a bit just to reach it. For all you players watching, I think you know that feeling. Loosening up the racket, pulling it back in after you make the shot. Excellent effort again, the step around forehand, and Yuling has been stretching a lot right now. But the work is paying off as she takes the lead by 1 point. Right on the line, completely fooling Shiwen. Seemed like Shiwen was standing in the highest percentage spot, centered on the table. Watch as Yuling takes this ball, really right on the line, and with power spinning away. Spinny opening shot, Shiwen, very closed racket there, keeps it low to the net. Well, the last time they played, Shiwen won the match. It was the semifinals in Qatar earlier this year, and it was a 4-0 win. The flip that started the game, the first point for Yuling, has not landed the last few attempts. Trying to go wider and wider, catches the edge. 2 shots right down the middle with the forehand.
8-9. 8-9.
And they're discussing this right now with the umpire. Shiwen quick to admit that the ball clipped the edge there on the side. Now 9 serving 8 for Yuling. Excellent recovery again. Yuling stepping around the corner, and as Shiwen leaves it on the opposite side of the table, taking it a little bit late, but loading it with spin, Yuling saves the point. Now 2 game points for Yuling. Long serve, and it's countered and blocked back out to the wide forehand. Yuling takes game one, 11 points to 8, and what a way to finish game one. We'll be back for game two after this short break.
Second game, Lucian to serve.
And we're back for game two. Shiwen trailing 0-1. Now starting off with the serve against Yuling. How fast can you receive a serve like that? Yuling just not even thinking about it, flat hitting it back. This time a heavier spin serve, a bit deep into the backhand. Clever idea, bum rushing the table, blitzing on the backhand side. And Yuling is showing some creativity, playing the short side of the table early in the rally with the forehand. Confident coming back in. Sometimes even if you don't make that shot, it changes the pressure on Shiwen. Wise move to come back into the table. Outstanding down the line shot, Shiwen changing it up. And while Yuling has more spin and power in general, you can see there when Shiwen decides to just put a little more pace on the ball with her short stroke, it can be quite surprising. Again, because of the short stroke, there's not as much telegraphing or way to predict where the ball is going to go.
Three, two.
There were a lot of questions for the Aska Pro, anything about height advantage for Vladimir Samsonov. And out here, Shiwen is the shorter player by a good 2 or 3 inches next to Yuling. You can see some difference in what Yuling can reach on the wide balls. Playing the angles quick off the bounce. Confident, consistent right now. And there in the rallies, see a lot of down the middle play. Again, this is more typical of the women's game. Trying to find the crossover point. Get a player to take the turn, use the forehand. And also even more on the backhand side, you saw there, the 37%. But the inside-out forehand is misconnected. Catches the edge of the racket. Yeah, if there were a huge advantage to being tall in table tennis, you'd see a lot taller players on average, much like in the NBA. Or in volleyball, there are clear advantages to height. Greatest female table tennis player of all time, 4'11". Some of the greatest male players as well. Ma Lin, several of the others, Lu Guoliang even. Not especially tall, but these fast rallies here, you can see how quick the reaction time needs to be and how important it is to have the short stroke and the anticipation to be in the right place at the right time. Yuling working so hard to cover the table, and Shiwen just keeps getting another one on. Plays it down the line for the finishing shot. I think we're seeing a lot more active play from Shiwen. Some bigger strokes. Of course, Yuling being off the table or playing slightly more passively in the blocking game allows Shiwen the time to take these bigger strokes. Oh, right down the line. The shot from Shiwen looked too good. And while she was standing there, Yuling said, nope, I don't think so. Right back down to where you're not going to be. Watch this one more time. so quick, and then turns and walks away. It's like an action star just walking away from an explosion, not looking back. Inside out forehand, the follow-up combination, too deep to the backhand corner. This is a pretty unstoppable Zhu Yuling right now, but still, she's trailing in points, down just one with her second serve. Ooh, a forehand cross court out wide. Not too many we see get past Zhu Yuling on the wings. Again, the timing, using her opponent's spin very well. LIU Shiwen right up to the forehead and back down to centered. LIU Shiwen's got the quickest recovery I've seen of the world-class players in the women's game.
7-6.
That might actually be a true statement regardless of gender, even out of the men's game as far as quick recoveries. Being able to take fast shots, one after another. The heavy spin serve a little bit deeper to the middle. Haven't seen Zhu Yuling take a few of those step around forehands in a bit. Change of pace from Zhu Yuling. We've seen that soft receive a few times where she takes the whole arm up on the backhand, sort of softly spins it into the body. And a well-placed heavy push, but the threat of the forehand as Zhu Yuling starts to step around really adds to the pressure. Now tied back up at 8 points each. LIU Shiwen with the serves. Outstanding anticipation in the short side of the table from Zhu Yuling. It was the flip first that started it from LIU Shiwen. A lot of people newer to the sport asking why she's wiping the table, getting the sweat off the palm, making sure her grip is good. Oh, lucky break, 2 bounces off the top of the net. And that head shake is a head shake of shame from Zhu Yuling to earn a game point on that ball, but it's part of the game, and she's got a chance here to take a 2-0 lead. Again, the ball is round. So happens a lot of these lucky points tend to balance out throughout the match. Well-placed shot to the short side from LIU Shiwen. See if Zhu Yuling decides to play less of a blocking game and get that forehand step around in. And it's a heavy spin serve. Looks like topspin, but not as much as appeared to be on it, mostly side. And LIU Shiwen finds the top of the net and out. It's 11 points to 9, a 2-0 lead for Zhu Yuling. We'll be back for game 3. Stay right here.
Yuling to serve. Dog all.
We're back for game 3. Yuling leading 2-0 is going to start off with the serve. Yuling tends to have the shorter steps. Again, the difference of height. But Liu Shiwen's steps shorter. Yuling has been hopping around quite a bit, covering more ground from behind the table. Punch shot with the backhand. The most impressive shot to me in that rally is the touch shot off the bounce from Yuling. Right here, watch the jump. See it kick back into the body. Some side spin left on it. Heavy underspin. Yuling misreads as she goes for the backhand opening. Some real pace and speed there. The heavy spin backhand loop of Liu Shiwen. This is not the Yuling we've seen so far. In this match, she's been quite consistent bringing back Liu Shiwen's backhands. But as you can see, Liu Shiwen playing a lot of shots backhand to backhand in this match, or at least on the serve. Of course, this is more typical length of the table.
5-1.
Clever idea from Yuling, just overdoes it on the wide angle. An excellent job of Liu Shiwen to find the far corner early on in the rally, getting the opening forehand.
Back 6-1. Back 6-1.
Very strong performance out here from Liu Shiwen in game 3 to turn things around. Put a dent in the confidence of Yuling. It seems like we're getting a little bit more spin out of Liu Shiwen, deep on the table, not allowing Yuling to get comfortable and counterattack. And even on that last shot, it looked like it'd be a winner for Yuling. But deep enough on the table, spinny into the backhand corner. So 9 game points for Liu Shiwen to take her first game. Backhand chop block from Yuling. Rare occasion we see that. Seen Ma Long do it several times in the same match, but Yuling, can't recall the last time I saw a chop block from her. 1 game point saved, 8 to go. Right into the shirt and the body, and that's it. 11 points to 2. What a turnaround from Liu Shiwen, making a statement here. By far the most dominant game. So even though she's down 1 game to 2, we'll see how it affects the psychology of her opponent. We'll be back for game 4 just after this. Players are back for game 4. Yuling staying warm out there, hopping around. Still leading 2-1, but Shiwen absolutely knocking the wind out of Yuling in the last game. Middle to middle, Shiwen continues her streak. Again, a long serve can be quite risky as opposed to the half-long serve. In that case, Yuling had a pretty solid receive. Takes the spin off, covers the ball very shallow on the table. Definitely changes the timing there. Yuling, pretty unusual shot with less topspin than usual. The very forehand flip that started the entire match has been much less consistent than where it started. Last 3 I recall missing from Yuling. So for most of last game, Yuling spent a lot of time in either a more passive position or trying to counter pretty ambitious shots early on. I think service placement, some element of surprise and unpredictability is going to have to be incorporated for Yuling early on in the rally. That's the second point that Yuling has earned in this game. And it's the second point that's been of a quality that was just a bit unusual. Not a very impressive shot for Yuling, but something simply to break the rhythm of Shiwen. Then again, that can have a lot to do with why Yuling quite used to heavy spin shots. Very comfortable with the fast pace of game. And in the rallies, as you can see there, Yuling middle and backhand dead even, but doesn't want to challenge the forehand side. Generally speaking, I think that's a wise idea.
2-5.
And while she has won a decent amount of points playing out to the forehand, she's been selective about when she uses it and hasn't had quite as many opportunities to really open up the forehand-to-forehand game.
6-2.
Two in a row down the forehand line. Using her opportunity wisely. These are some of the patterns we saw from Yuling early on in the match. Taking the ball quickly off the bounce, sending it right back to where it came from. Hitting it behind the momentum of her opponent. And now the short side of the table looking good for Shiwen. Plays a quick forehand. Excited baby in the crowd. There it is, as wide as they come out to the forehand. You might recognize that soft receive from earlier in the match. Still enough spin on it, but covering the middle with the backhand. How low and wide that ball is. Shiwen just taking a look at the deepest part of the table where the ball bounced.
8-4.
Kicking serve. Some trouble for Yuling into the body on the backhand side. Inside out forehand deep to the backhand corner. And after losing last game 11-2, this game was starting to feel pretty one-sided. Still a ways to go for Yuling, but her patterns right now are quite unpredictable. She's playing well.
Left.
Getting the off the bounce, quick decisions. Heavy push flies long.
9.
Oh, just missing the recovery from down low near the bottom of the net. This is very similar to the opportunity on the opposite side of the table as Fan Jiandong's roller yesterday. Look at this hustle and the touch deep on the table. Just missing out to the forehand side. We've got 4 game points for Liu Shiwen. Right into the body. What a catch. Looked like it rolled up into the armpit and came right down into the hand. 3 game points left for Liu Shiwen. And after all the blocks and the shots that keep coming back, Liu Shiwen's there and ready. She takes the game 11 points to 7. Ties it up at 2 games apiece. We'll see who takes the lead in game 5 right after this short break.
Game, Yuling to serve.
We're back for game 5. It's tied up now. The 2-game lead that Yuling once had has now gone to nothing. And of course, the value of taking those 2 games is still there. They're tied up in games, and Liu Shiwen takes the lead to start off game 5. Timeout called here. Yuling is going to take a moment to think through her strategy out here. The forehand flip again started the match. It was a very effective shot, but since then has not paid off. She's going to have to think through how she can get into her game. I think the combination play from the back of the table has been very effective as far as quick shots. A few down the line balls, inside out forehands from the backhand corner. But again, in the women's game, it's tricky. Women tend to play a little bit more centered on the table, backhand to backhand game. Some of Zhu Yuling's most effective serves have been deep into the body, down the middle of the table. Anywhere between half long and right at the baseline. So a quick timeout and back at the table. That is just too solid. So much racket speed from Liu Shiwen. Watch as she drops her hand. She circles right back around to center, but the ball's already gone deep to the corner. And the streak continues. Liu Shiwen is It's been a different player out here against Zhu Yuling since the start of game 3.
Love 5.
First point for Zhu Yuling, and it's a down-the-line shot, the parallel shot, quick off the bounce. There's the pressure. Turns for the forehand to the forehand side. Now the percentages you were seeing on screen was not about points won, but more so where the shots are played. So there have been many points won forehand to forehand for Zhu Yuling. He's had a little trouble connecting with a few of those shots. Shiwen's opening attacks, or at least the forehand to the forehand, is kicked up into the edge of the racket. Once again, the fast-paced rally. Shiwen seems to be on top of the ball. Very much in control. So consistent on these short strokes, covering the middle there with the backhand. And the final shot, just a little more flick of the wrist to add to the kick on the ball. Speaking of kick, that serve really jumped up and out, but the follow-up attack just smothering the ball. A little bit of trouble on the dead receive. Since the start of the match, I feel like the percentages have gone way down for Shiwen's counters. Shiwen again trying to keep it to the backhand side. Now we've seen one of those edge balls come down. Vladimir Samsonov against Zhang Jike created a pretty interesting rally that involved crushing some barriers, stepping through one anyway. And even the inside-out forehand doesn't land. It's 6 game points for Shiwen to continue her streak, win her 3rd game in a row. Chop block after a chop. That's 2 in a row from Zhu Yuling. What a recovery. Shiwen going for the winner down the line. 1 game point saved, and a flashy, creative way to do it.
Then 10-5. Then
oh, serve out.
10-6, 10.
So we got 2 game points saved. What a recovery. Shiwen wide on the backhand, brings it right back into the body cross court. Gonna have to try and stay loose with the obliques there, but it's a 3-2 lead. We'll be back for game 6 to see if it's the last. Shiwen versus Zhu Yuling, game 6 just after this.
serve. Love all.
We're back for game 6. Shiwen with a quick serve to take the first point.
Love 2.
And the comeback train hasn't stopped chugging. Spin from the middle of the table. Shiwen just too spinny, too controlled right now. Even on the wide shots is bringing him right back into play. Little back edge on the table.
3. Love.
What started off looking like a match that could be a pretty big upset for Yuling, taking the first 2 games. The momentum is really swung out here. But there's the power into the crossover point, a little out to the forehand side. Yuling has the time there. Clear out on the forehand.
Left 4-1.
The punch shot deep on the table. Not sure if it caught an edge or not, but it's a quality shot right there from Shiwen. Well timed. Long serve into the body and the punch shot. You can see again, in case you're unfamiliar with long serves, how close to the baseline on her side Shiwen's serve bounced first.
1-6.
And on the reverse, there's a service error there. You can see this in Shiwen's warm-ups as well, how circular the motion is on the backhand side, her technique. How she comes back into the body, right out to center. Very fluid motion. Now it's rare that we see an exhibition point in the women's game, especially when it's 2 players who are fighting so hard to prove to their national association what their worth is.
2-8.
Not to mention one of the players who's, well, the player who's losing right now still has 2 games. Ooh, quick off the bounce down the line. Yuling with the reaction shot, some quick thinking there. Not a lot of room to get it past Shiwen, but a quick shot does it.
9-3.
Seeing some of the right ideas from Shiwen, just not connecting to enough shots to make them happen. And now 7 match points for the star athlete, the star female athlete of 2015, Shiwen. Again, last year was her year despite not taking the World Championships. 1 point away from moving on to the finals. And there it is, Shiwen will be playing the women's singles final later today, taking down Yuling after losing the first 2 games and then dominating in the next 4. Look at those scores. An outstanding performance from Shiwen, who won the last tournament she played in Japan in Sendai at the Women's World Cup. She'll have a little break and have a chance to come back later to face the winner of the other women's singles semifinal. But stick around, we've got a men's semifinal coming up just after this. It's going to be Zhang Jike and Fan Zhendong, so you don't want to miss it. Stick around, you're watching the Japan Open.